Hello, and welcome back to FRLT Season 4, and it is time for Tier 1, round number 8. Yes, we return here tonight on another Wednesday evening for the 8th time, and we are now coming down to the final 3 races of Season 4, and the final couple of races, the final 3 races of Tier 1 on F1 24. Let's have a quick look at the track map, though. As you can see, it is 6.174 kilometers, 3.836 miles, 27 turns, the most on the calendar. 3 DF zones down the pit straight, back straight, and that curve straight as well. Ultimately, looking at the calendar, we've now gone through the Netherlands, Bahrain, Great Britain, all in March. We've then gone through Kota, Brazil, Monza in China, and on the 30th of April, and the final race of April, we're going to Saudi Arabia, not China. Saudi Arabia, that's it. I need to stop saying China. I've done so many China races in the last week or two. Ultimately, then in the next 2 weeks, on the 7th, we'll be going to Imola, and on the 14th, we will be going to Austria. So it's going to be an interesting one. Looking at the standings, though, it's a little bit more interesting. AMS have a massive 1-3 finish, pull themselves now 48 points clear at the top of the championship. So, as that stands, if AMS keep that gap in the next 2 races, they will win the Constructors' Championship before round number 10. Now, here in Saudi Arabia, it means EVR are going to need a really big performance, at least claw back at least about 15 points. I'd say at least 15 points this week to claw their way back into the championship fight. We also got to talk about SKG. Strong finish, 20 points scored last week, brings them to only the 3rd team this season to reach 100 points, 111. So it's pretty interesting. We're just loading into qualifying now, but as you can see, XPG for 3rd race now in a row, they've not scored points. If they don't score points here in Jeddah, it will mean they've scored the same amount. They've scored points in the first 4 races, but not in the last 4. So pretty disappointing there for them. SET closed up by 4 points as well at that rate. SET will overtake XPG for 5th in the Constructors. UFRT, no points last week for the first time this season. VL with a big comeback, 10 points last week, their best finish of the season. Maybe they'll get a podium this week. LR again having a bit of a struggle, and HRT scoring 1 point. So pretty interesting. We're going to move now to the actual qualifying going on here this week. Moving to the actual qualifying, as my game is killing itself slowly. In all honesty, this week is going to be an interesting week. In all honesty, because it's a very different track. It's I think pretty much the only track this season that we've really come to that is this high speed. Only Monza. I'd say Monza is the only other track that's very high speed, but not so flowing like Jeddah. It's the only track really that's flowing like this. But it is East Brand that's leading us away in qualifying. It was a second ago Black Panther, but now it is East Brand. Now, the one thing I will say about East Brand in the last season or two is he's really struggled with performance. In Season 1, he was considered one of the best drivers all season. But since then, the past 2 full seasons, he hasn't been the same. And this season as well, he hasn't been the same either. So, one of the weaker drivers, I'd say, at the moment from AMS. It's going to be interesting to see today because when you look at it, you can see East Brand is AMS need, if they have a big finish, maybe get 40 points. If they can get 40 points over, because you see, you can only score 90 points a week, well, per race. So only 90 points can be scored in 2 races. So they'd need to go to over 90 points ahead, but that is mathematically impossible, I believe. So, or just about possible. So we'll have to see. But East Brand is leading on his lap. There is a car following him, and that is Black Panther. Into turn 1, though. Let's ride on board. Looking pretty solid there. Right over the curbs. Although East Brand does have a car following him, and that is already not good. But as you see, AMS Ramon, hello, good evening. Hope you're doing well. East Brand making his way round with some incredible speed. Simba's already retired. I think he's already crashed. That's a terrible start to XR8's evening. Oh my god. Now into the hairpin East Brand goes. Pretty solid. Pretty solid from East Brand there. Not looking too bad. He's looking pretty quick actually on his lap. He's not looking too bad. It's nothing brilliant, but he's at least making his way around the track. Somebody else has actually had a moment as well. It's an EVR driver. Maybe track conditions looking a little bit tricky out here tonight. It's looking rather tricky. So already one driver out. East Brand looking pretty quick. That's now the time to beat. A high 1 minute 0.9. Let's see how is he going to do when he reaches turn 27, the final corner. He's got to hit this well. You've got to get the braking right. It's just about 100, just after 100 meters. Got to get the car turned in. Looking pretty good there. Getting the rear going as well. So looking really good from East Brand at the moment. Coming up to the line. Where is East Brand going to go? It's going to be a 1 minute 27.233. And a pretty solid lap there. Schumacher can only do a 27.9. Black Panther's only done a 28. So not the best of laps from himself. I think it is Batiste coming up to the line next. HRT looking for another point. They could pull themselves ahead of LR's. Batiste goes P2. Still quite far off though. As Harrison then goes P3. Quite a big gap at the moment in the grid. That was Bulksu. And Nardo goes even faster to a 27.105. It's a pretty solid lap. Pretty solid lap there from himself. In all respect. We've got Yanni Casares coming up to the line next. SKG need a big evening. And it is a big lap there. P3. Very solid from himself. Exactly what he would have been looking for here tonight. We've got Raxi just crossing the line now. Then we have Flame, who's sadly invalidated. We have Maisie, who's also invalidated. I think we've got another... We've got Casper. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the stream. Casper is doing another lap. So he's only done... I think he invalidated his last lap. Then we've got somebody coming up to the line. Is it a Williams? I do believe it is. It is East Brand who's actually coming around. Interesting. 1-2 at the moment. Very strange. Very strange with the grid. Very strange indeed. As Half Snow goes P3, getting quite a bit closer. Another 700s closest. Casper once again gets another invalidation. Ebesovic making his way round. Whoa! That's a big moment. And a little bit too close. He's invalidated anyway. But a little bit too close for comfort, in all honesty. Davis Svat is now making his way round. Raxi has also invalidated. Rusted Bolt is waiting to, I think, go again. Strange. A lot of cars waiting to go around. But we've got Harrison on a lap. Let's see how Harrison's going to do. He seems to have had extra fuel, quite a bit of extra fuel on board. So he's doing multiple runs. So we might see an improvement on this second run. Let's see how he does with this first sector. It's quite a difficult first sector. A lot of chances to invalidate, a lot of chances to do Lando Norris into a wall. But pretty solid from the HRT driver. Pretty solid so far. Across the first sector line, he's up by almost 0.2 of a second, by the way. So already jumping himself up a place. Only up one place, though. But only 9 drivers were able to complete their banker laps. That's not great. 9 drivers. I've not really seen that in the first few minutes, only 9 drivers have actually finished a full lap. But as you can see, Harrison making his way around. Let's see how he's going to do in that HRT. Only up now by 86 thousandths, so he's not up by a huge amount now. He's going to stay in P6 at the moment, but it is getting a little bit closer. But at the moment, Half Snow is the man who's closest of all to the AMS duo, out in first and second. I think some teams after last race I think EVR might not be focusing on the championship so much. He improves by just over a 10th and he does go to P5 in the end. But I saw some people talking about some of the like teams and stuff at the moment that some people aren't pushing for the championship anymore, and like how it's been a really tough season for some. I think XPG have had probably the toughest season out of all. They won the first race of the season, but their form has dipped ever since. They've now gone 3 races pointless, 3 races with no points at all, and now they're coming to Jeddah hoping for some decent points, hoping to get that form back and to score some points and to save themselves from dropping outside of the top 5 in the Constructors. I was speaking to Flame before. I think very much XPG still believe that 4th is a possibility if they can perform. If they can get, these last 3 races right, maybe get another win. I think it's very much on for them to still get 4th in the Constructors. It's not where they, really wanted to have started, as he cuts the corner way too fast through there. Not enough control once again. Rusted Bolt further behind. You can see he's actually about half a second slower than Flame. But I think it is a tough one. As Bulksu needs an invite because, he's decided to not have any internet. Across the line, Rusted Bolt only goes ahead of his teammate by half a second, and that is it. I think that was Kevin that's just come into the pits. Massive problem, though, for EVR at the moment is their qualifying form and their race pace. They seem to be lacking in achieving, the sort of performances they need. They're now 48 points behind in the Constructors. It is possible for AMS this race to extend the championship to such a degree that they take the Constructors' Championship out of this race, and win it from round 8. But I do think it's a strange one if they do win it out of this race, because, it's been so close then. Realistically, it's only really been one race for EVR that's actually dropped them far enough behind. But that's really all AMS needed this season, in all honesty. That's all they've really needed. As Nilu goes P5, SCT finding some late performance in the season. The fact they're battling for 5th in the Constructors, they were 10th. Now they're 5th within a couple of races. Nardo goes even faster to a 26.880. really gunning for that, at the moment, really on for that 1 point for pole. Really on for that 1 point for pole. They're already wanting to bring themselves another point closer to where they really want to be. I think it's a tough one, in all honesty. I think when you look at everybody, I think it's a really tough one if Maisie limps back to the pits. But I think to some degree, I think they kind of know where everybody is. So now Batiste goes up to P5, just 4 thousandths in front of Nilu. But I think we're starting to see who's really in contention and who isn't now. And I think a poor race last time round has really hurt. Whoa! Half Snow, P2, just jumps ahead of Eastbrand. What a good lap from himself. Flame coming up to the line next. I think we've got Kevin. Then we've got another Williams. That's Eastbrand, who's improved by over 1/10.5, so he might go into a 26 as well, so he might join his teammate. But Half Snow giving a bit of a battle there. He's Casares as well with a decent lap. Yes, and into a 26.9, but not far ahead of Half Snow, not far ahead. HRT having a very surprising qualifying so far. But yeah, I think at the moment it's a tough one for a lot of teams. I think a lot of teams are taking the brunt at the moment as now Philip goes P8. But yeah, I think this season's proving that AMS might just have the edge this game over others, and I think it's clearly showing where they have the edge. I think that's the key thing that I think a lot of people are missing is where do AMS actually have the edge, and I think it's just in consistency. I think it is just general consistency is where AMS currently lead, and I don't think in peak performance-wise, I don't think they really lead there, but I think they're slightly ahead, but not far ahead. But I think in consistency is the only place where currently they really lead, as Flame goes P5. Good lap for himself, a lap that he needed. Now Kevin comes up to the line. He goes P5 now, just jumping Flame by 7 thousandths of a second. But yeah, I think it's a tough one for a lot of teams at the moment, and I think it is a very close one. But if AMS don't, at the moment, I think we know AMS has an amazing chance to wrap up the championship already in the closest season we've ever had. As now Schumacher goes P5, just slotting in behind Half Snow. Incredible final sector there from himself. So EVR is there, but so is AMS in general performance. But that's the thing. I think it's so split at the moment between everybody that I don't think anybody really has an idea at the moment of where. I think still I think consistency. I think EVR and SKG will know it is consistency that is keeping AMS in the lead. And next season, if we see, if AMS. If we see other teams a bit more consistent with their performance and not struggling, to hold on to that sort of top performance, I think we generally see, Jesus Christ, we've just seen a car jump up in the air, but I think we generally see AMS have to really battle, and I think, then it would be a problem. I think, F1 25 could bring new teams into the picture of who is actually and genuinely the fastest. Because at the moment, I don't think, in all honesty, I don't think anyone else is faster than AMS at the moment. Just at the moment. But that could change, in all fairness. That could change very much. SKG have shown themselves sort of later in the second half of the season. They've shown themselves a bit more as a sort of contender. And if they had this from round one, though, I think very much SKG could have generally pushed for the championship. I think they very much would have been in a better championship position than... Whoa! Casper! With a 1 minute 26.771, that now puts AMS in a bit of a problem. It really does, because now it's 1 point less and a slight percentage drop in the chance of them finishing up the championship this week. Because now, mathematically, they cannot win the championship now. They'll have to wait. Even if both VR drivers don't finish, they still cannot. That's a big change. That's a massive change, in all fairness. That's going to be very big. Now, let's watch on board with Nardo on what he does on his lap, because he's now got to find another 0.109 tenths of a second in his lap to equal Casper, but he has to find 0.110 tenths in his lap. Tenths of a second, so small. Hello, Ghost. Welcome to the stream. Into turn one. Let's see. Late on the brakes from Nardo. Pushing it round. A little bit wide there. Not perfect through the first two corners. Maybe a little bit slower than last time. But this is really where, you know, AMS need to be, I think, a little bit more often, is in these closing moments in qualifying. And a bit of a hit with a wall that will not help Nardo at all. But I think these are the sort of moments slightly for these guys as Casper now retires. Nardo is down by 15 thousandths, but Raxi also retires as well. That's 3 drivers out. But what is strange is how... It's these moments, you know, that we see from teams that divide them. And if I'm being honest, even though AMS lead the championship, it's not usually this season. We haven't really seen, especially in qualifying, AMS really step up and make that improvement. Up by 47 thousandths, but that's still not enough to go to pole. He's going to have to find about another 7 hundredths in his lap. If he can find, he's running out of fuel as well. Let's see, onto the brakes. A little bit wide there. Not perfect, using everything he's got. Will Nardo go fastest of all? No, he won't! By 4 thousandths of a second, Nardo goes second. It's the best he can do. Let's see, Nilu's improving by over 2 tenths of a second. That could bring him back into some contention for some decent position. It's only P9 in the end for himself. Rusted Bolt comes into the pits, not happy with his lap. Then we've got Ebersovic on his one and only run. It's P7, and that's a strong lap from himself and for VEL. And across the line, Hazidu, not too bad. P11, Boltsu only goes to P14. Then we've got a Ferrari. That was Harrison, who came across. Then I think we don't have him. We have Kevin, who doesn't improve. Schumacher won't improve either. Half Snow goes P3, splitting the AMS drivers. Batiste can't improve on his lap. Yanni can't either. Eastbrand! In the last dying seconds of qualifying, Eastbrand steals pole away from SKG. My God, in the last couple of seconds as well. Flame isn't going to improve even. That is qualifying over. Eastbrand is on pole, and it is AMS on pole. And that is the first point that they need for tonight to claim the championship. There's an extra point going their way, but this is the grid, and in the end it was quite close. Eastbrand is on pole, followed by Casper in second, Nardo in third, Half Snow in fourth, Yannick Casares in fifth, Schumacher sixth, Ebersovic seventh, Harrison in eighth, Kevin ninth, Flame in 10th, then Nilu, Philip, Batiste, Davis Svat, Boltsu, Massey, Rusted Bolt, Macy, and then Black Panther, then Raxi and Simba, both at the bottom. What is interesting, though, is that even though they're a bit off, EVR are still there, 6th and 9th. If Schumacher can make some moves, This might turn into something decent. It might turn into something decent. So, I've said when we'll be getting ready, and that's in about 2 minutes' time. But holy, what an end to qualifying. Very much the dying moments of qualifying. And somehow Eastbrand pulls out a lap. I think for the first time in probably about a year, we've seen Eastbrand have an incredible qualifying, and I think generally an incredible performance, because I don't think we've seen that in the last few months at least. You know, probably since season 1 we haven't seen a performance like that, but that is the start of what AMS needed here tonight. You know, it is very much the start they needed, but for EVR here and for SKG, it's getting in front, and for Casper, it's getting up to that lead and taking the lead early on, and possibly crossing the line and winning, because there is prize money, remember, for the top 3. Split 70, 50, and then £30. So it is £150 in total. So this is over a £20 difference at the moment. You know, SKG chasing EVR, you know, they don't want £30, they want 50 and possibly 70, but we'll have to see. I mean, in all fairness, SKG could still win, you know. They could. 67 points difference. If they took out, I think if they took 30 points out of AMS today, I think I'd say the championship is on. And same for EVR. I think if they took out like 20 points out of AMS today, I'd say the championship is back on. But we know that next week AMS will pull up with their strongest lineup again. And, you know, we're seeing Nardo return. So we'll have to see how these drivers do, because it is a tough track. It is, and compared to the last couple of tracks like China and stuff that we've seen, you know, the grid is a little bit more spaced out, but I don't think it's just that. I think also the grid is, I think here we're going to see a lot more racing and a lot more side-by-side action than we did in China. And it's going to be, I think this race will be a bit less about strategy, and it's about sticking with the DRS and having the DRS. And so I think we're going to see drivers pushing a lot more. You know, these are the last 3 races, round 8, 9, and 10 left. You know, it's always a tough one. You know, it's always a tough one for teams, everything. But we'll have to see in the next few moments what the drivers are thinking, what they're going to be doing. It's like I said, it's a tough one. But to be honest, predictions wise, I'm not going to give a prediction. Because it's really difficult. But I do think EVR are going to climb up the order. I think they are going to climb up the order. I think Schumacher will. I think it's about 70, like a good 60% chance, 60-70% chance that he will be on there. But here we go. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Jeddah for round number 8 of FRLT Season 4. It's been a good start by Casper before turn 1. He's side by side with the man of Eastbrand. He's still there. A little bit of lagging there. A lot of drivers going everywhere. Lots of dust. Has Casper dropped down? Yes, he has. He's dropped down to 3rd already. He's already struggling off the start of the 2. The AMS duo now lead away quite fiercely and quite quickly. They lead away in the race. This is perfectly what they need, and this is all they need here tonight. It's been a pretty clean start from some. Kevin's down 1 position. A couple of drivers going round. Simba and Raxi are up 1 place each as well. So it's been a pretty interesting start. But look at this. Yannick Casares trying to make a move on half snow for P4. This is Constructors' Championship positions for SKG here. And this is an important one to get right. Casper following behind the AMS duo here. He's following behind. He's on for the podium. And another podium for SKG. But he wants to take this win, as now Yannick Casares now gets up to 4th as he tries to catch up to his teammate. It is all going crazy out in the lead. 3-way battle still. Look at this. As now, Casper gets P2 ahead of Eastbrand. Eastbrand dropping down 2 places already. Here comes Casper. He's giving a bit of a nudge. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see what's going to happen here. Because now it is Nardo versus Casper. And look at this. Look at Yanni Casares. He's also trying to make a move on Eastbrand for P4. And he's already made the move. Up to P3 he goes. And that is a double podium for SKG now. And that is perfectly what they needed here tonight. And this is their Constructors' Championship up for grabs. And this is what they want. Schumacher also up a place as well. Flame also making a move. Whoa! And he's been tagged. And he's gone down. He's out of the points now. And that is disappointment for XPG. But Harrison at least is now up to 7th. And 6 points are on for XPG. And some points for the first time since round number 4. It looks like XPG's pointless season might come to an end. But look at this dive bomb from Philip for P9 on Kevin. It's a lot of battling. Very much Kevin needed to be higher up the order, but he is on those hard tyres. So it is as we expected. David Schwatt trying to make the move past Batiste. Can he make the move? He's trying to make the move all he can, but at the moment unable to just as of yet. Looking at the tyres, let's have a look. It is mostly mediums. We've got a couple of hard runners. I think we've got 5 hard runners and a soft run of Boltsu and all of that. But a great start from Yanni and from Philip. Up 3 places. Also Raxi as well. Look at this. P6 up for grabs. Half Snow down to 7th. His qualifying form seems to be not being transferred into the race. But it is still all here. Eastbrand is struggling, though, to keep up with the top 3. Here comes Casper. Is he going to go for the move? No, he's not. Eastbrand's getting quite a bit of pressure now from Schumacher. If Eastbrand drops down another position, they'll drop down to just a possible 36 points tonight. That's another... I mean, that would be another really disappointing one for AMS to drop down another 2 points here. If he drops behind Schumacher, another 2 points. As Flame is absolutely dropping through the order. And Flame has had a massive moment. And Flame is down into 20th. And that is incredible disappointment for XPG Flame. And that is a virtual safety car. And that is just... Oh, XPG. Their day is not getting any better. And their season is just... Their season just seems to be getting worse. Flame now... without front wing and slowly rolling back to the pits. But his teammate, at least Harrison, is up in P6 on for 8 points. It's going to be their biggest finish since round 4. A good and solid 8 points still. It's still 8 points and still saves them from SCT at the moment. As Evasovic needs an invite, which is really annoying. Because it would have been nice if somebody could just not disconnect. I don't know how people disconnect sometimes. But now, Nardo leads. It's a virtual safety car. They're slowly rolling around. David, that's a bold one from you. Nardo already has this race won. I do not believe that he has this race won already. Are we under virtual safety car still? Yes, we are. Virtual safety car taking its time. Taking its time, waiting to see when this virtual safety car is going to end. Because it's taking a really long time. And now it's ended. Macy gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. That's bad for LR. LR already having a pretty crappy evening. I do agree with... I think, David, that's a bold thing to say. Nardo already has this race. Especially when he's got 2 SKG drivers sitting right behind him. And... then, you know, then it is Eastbrand, then it's Schumacher, then it's Harrison, all within this group, just this one group. You know, 6 drivers all battling it out to win or for the podium. And especially with DRS as well, that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to hurt Nardo, is that here, everybody behind him has DRS and can close up on him very easily. And you could see that Casper, through everything, is trying his hardest now to catch up to Nardo and make that move and take the lead of the race. And you can see already 3 tenths closer, half the gap after DRS is crazy. I do think, though, looking at the way driver seems to be setup-wise. It does look like Nardo has more straight-line speed than Casper, which I think is the biggest difference we're seeing at the moment. Here we go into turn 1. It looked like a move, but it looks like Schumacher's making a move, though. He's trying to make a move, at least, on Eastbrand for P4. You can see, look at this, Schumacher really giving those hard tyres, not working for Eastbrand at all. He has to drop down now to P5 in this race. Dropping even further back and dropping another 2 points for AMS. Now, 36 points is what they'll be taking tonight. And that's not exactly where you want to be points-wise. 36 points in a championship battle. Now, when you look at it, it's 14 points, though, for EVR. Only 14. And so still 22 points difference, but if I'm being honest, it's very much a one-horse race with these guys. But look at how the rest of the group have caught up. Philip has actually really been catching up to Harrison and the rest in front. So the gap is starting to come down. Yeah, I agree, David. I do agree that the pit stops will probably be the most decisive factor. I do agree. I do very much agree that it will be a decisive factor in this race on what will happen. But SKG are keeping up very well with Nar. In all fairness, I did not expect SKG to be coming on for a double podium. Kevin, by the way, look at this chaos over P7. They're all fighting over this one position of P7. And that's some extra points. There's 4 extra points for this team, which means now they're going to be... Now, that's gone down to 4, but if it was P7, it would have been 18 points for EVR, and at least make it just 18 points down on AMS. But realistically, the championship is running away from them, as that's, I believe, Ebesovic that's round in the first few corners. But it's becoming very interesting with this now. It's becoming very interesting. Ebesovic having massive problems trying to turn around. Oh! Safety car. Safety car is out. And this changes a lot of things. Now, looking at this, pit stop wise, will they come in? The medium runners could come in for hards. And in all fairness, the front 4 could all come in for hard tyres and do that till the end of the race. They could definitely do that till the end of the race, especially with the safety car being out. So they could definitely do that. But are they going to come in this early? That's the call. Are they going to come in this early and go for hard tyres? Because it's clear that hard tyres are still slower than the mediums. For the medium runners, it means they can just go for the soft tyres. So let's see. Nardo, is he going into the pits? Yes, he is. Nardo is going into the pits. AMS think it's time. SKG will follow with that. A lot of teams are following with that. Look at this. Yannick Asaris has opened a bit of a gap. Everybody's coming in. They all think it's time. For Schumacher, though, he might actually gain a position here because of double stacking with the SKG drivers. Look at this. Who's come out where? Schumacher's P3 now. EVR's now just gained another 3 points. Kevin, where's Kevin? Kevin's come out P8, so Kevin's gained another 2 points as well. So now it's 19 points. It's 19 points for EVR. So it's a little bit better. And AMS have still come out 1st and 5th. So still 30. So at least, what, 35, 36 points still. At least still 36 points this race. Based off those positions. But now, another point. 19 points now. It's no longer 18. It's now 17 points gained over EVR. Now, if Kevin can gain some places, get ahead of Half Snow for P7, that becomes 21 points. Schumacher can win this race, take the lead and win. That's going to be an extra 10 points. Bring in an extra 12, you know, that's going to be a really good 31 points. But for AMS, they're going to, you know, even if AMS finish second, they'll drop 7 points. They'll drop 7 points. So they'll drop down to 29. With fastest lap, though, it'll be 37. So they'd still drop down to 30 points. And then, yeah, so we'll have to see. Eastbrand, though, is now on the mediums. Although it's not the best of ideas because he might be on the mediums, in all fairness, but he's not on the right sort of tyre because he can't go till the end on this. Harrison's gone weirdly for the softs. A couple of medium runners like Kevin. Who knows? Who knows? Who actually knows? But Raxi's up 8 places, by the way, so a really good race from himself. As now Harrison comes in because he's coming for the soft, but it's the wrong tyre. But everybody's closed up now, so he's going to lose all of his places. So it's even worse for himself. It's holy. This race is really challenging me. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also click on that notification bell to know about all the content we do here at FRLT, from video shorts and of course these streams. Will AMS wrap up the championship tonight? I don't believe so. I think it will come down to round 9. But will EVR turn it around? Turn a bit of a tough qualifying around. Turn it into a victory in Jeddah. Take their second of the season and close in on AMS in the Constructors. Will they close in on AMS in the Constructors? That's the big question. Very much the big question here tonight. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Penalties as well. Remember, post-race penalties will also change some things standings-wise. So we'll have to see with everything. Very much we'll have to wait and see. So, maybe I think the safety car will come in this lap. It's not been a great day for VEL. Still some more points on the board for them. We'll bring them up to 30 points. Just bring them just behind UFRT. But UFRT also having a struggle today. They're not on for points. But the safety car is now coming in. Nardo is leading the pack away. He can go whenever he wants. Remember that. He controls the pack now. It's all up to them. Raxi, by the way, what an incredible race so far for him. Up to P10 in this race. Up to the points for XR8. The championship is very much falling apart. No, it's generally about 10 to 15 seconds. It's generally a bit behind. It might be a little bit more. I don't know. Sometimes it's internet. It could be you. I don't know. I haven't changed anything. But Nardo leads away. When is he going to go? When is he going to go? He goes now. But it's not been the best. It's not been the best of restarts from Nardo himself, because the top 4 have all kept onto the back of him, and especially Casper. But look at the moves happening further back. A lot is happening further back. Nilu trying to make a move. Raxi round the outside. Somebody's gone a bit round. That's Maisie who's gone round. And now heading up through. Raxi still trying to hold on for position. Nilu making that move up to P12. You can see Black Panthers dropping down the order as well. It's not looking good. Boltsu. Oh my god, LR, 19th and 20th. Again, another last positions for themselves. But the battle is happening further back. Harrison's dropping down through the order. Holy Jesus, it is all going on. Ebesovic gets a penalty as well. But it is Nardo who leads away on lap number 9. He's led most of this race now. A little bit of a tap with the wall, though. That's not going to help his car aerodynamically at all. Because see how Eastbrand is all over the back of Schumacher for P3. But the only problem he's going to face is when it comes down to straight line speed, because it's clear to see that Eastbrand does not have as much straight line speed as EVR, or even his teammate, I don't believe. I don't think he has the same amount of straight line speed, because you could see he's struggling to get past the EVR driver when the EVR driver is, you know, has got slipstream and is using battery. Here comes Eastbrand, though, down the inside. He's going to try and make that move. He's on the medium tires. He can't go till the end of the race on those, though. That would be incredible if he did. But up to P3 goes Eastbrand. That's a good move made. DRS is now enabled to top 4. Still all in this battle. And look at this. Yanni Casares as well made the move. Look at that. That is Kevin up to P7. Exactly what he needed. It is all going on. It is all happening here tonight. It's happening a lot here tonight. Apologies for pausing the game. Just had to check something. But yeah, it's a strange one. I will say, I think AMS, will they take another win? Will they take their fourth win? Was it fourth win of the season now? Will they take their fourth win this season in 8 races? 50% of the season won. They did it last season. They won half the season. I think part of it is because I think teams, aren't pushing as much. Some teams aren't pushing as much points-wise. Who knows? We'll have to see. But Eastbrand now pushing for that P2 over the man of Casper. Casper, of course, on those hard tyres. Eastbrand wants the victory. He wants to convert that pole to a victory. But Casper wants that win. It's going to be close. Who's going to go for what? I know Casper has a decent amount of straight line speed. And it's showing here. Battery, look at this. Oh, a big contact. Eastbrand having contact with Schumacher into turn 27. You can see a lot is happening. Somebody's gone around. That's Boltsu. A couple of drivers are having some moments. That's Black Panther dropping down. Don't know what is going on. Look at this. Look at the battling. And it is a safety car. It is a safety car. Again in this race. And that is because of Flame. Holy. And that is the way it's changed. Ebersovic gets a 10-second time penalty. Look at Raxi and Kevin fighting for over who's in what position. Kevin ultimately P8. Just dropped down to P8 in the end. But interesting one. Interesting to see. I'm not sure what happened further back because we had a lot of action happening out the front. So I might need to look into reports and maybe post something, but who knows. So we've got another safety car. It's the first time, by the way, this season we've had 2 safety cars within, I think, about in the first 15 laps. So interesting to see. So, well, we're going to have to see how this goes, because it's a long race ahead. It is a very long race ahead. David thinking Nardo is on for it, thinking he's going to take the win. I don't doubt you. I'm not saying your prediction is wrong. I think there's a good chance he'll win. No doubt there's a good chance he'll win, but there's a good chance Casper will win, or Eastbrand at the moment, or even Schumacher. I think generally those top 4 are all in it, as now Eastbrand comes in. That's a strange move from AMS to send him in. They've sent EVR have sent Kevin in. But that's a very interesting move. Onto the mediums though. That's a strange move AMS have gone for. Very strange. Interesting nonetheless. Interesting. But yeah. One team I haven't spoken about all day long is LR. I mentioned quickly about them, but I haven't really spoken about them. They're 9th in the Constructors on 12 points. HRT just sitting behind with 11. After this race, they'll drop to last in the Constructors. Last season, by the way, LR were 3rd in the Constructors. They finished 3rd in the season. Their first ever trophy in FRLT came. They didn't get any wins last season, but they took a couple of podiums. They took, I think, a few podiums last season, and that was really. I think they took 2 or 3 podiums across the season. So they had some silverware. They had some silverware in there, and I think they also had. They finished 3rd in the Constructors. So Constructors trophy wise, they got that 3rd place. They became another team to achieve that. 3 teams in season 1. than one team in Season 2 that, hadn't achieved the trophy before. So only 4 teams in the first 2 seasons had achieved one of those trophies. And then in Season 3, of course, we had 2 new teams. We saw XR8 achieve 2nd and LR achieve 3rd, which meant, we saw the 5th and 6th team be crowned. And this season, we're going to be seeing 2 new teams of EVR and SKG. So we're going to be seeing, probably, let's be honest, I think we're going to be seeing our 7th and 8th team with Tier 1 trophies. But LR, it's been a really tough season for them. They're now looking at even their rivals HRT, who have been behind for most of the season, pulling in front of them. But I don't know what it is. LR, P5 in the first race, 10 points. And in the last 7 races, in the last 6 races, 6 full races, they've only scored 2 points in 6. I've never, in my honest opinion, I've not seen a team this season, or sort of a team probably in all 4 seasons, that has had such a good start and then had such a drop in form. Even ABE at their worst, like for the last season, even ABE were still picking up points. They might have got some P5, but they still were scoring points in the end. So I must say it's quite strange. But with this new top 10, it's even more strange, because we've now got HRT on for their first top 5 finish of Season 4. Score some points. They've got double points on the way. They've got double points for SCT, P7 again for VEL, P6 for XR8, P5 and 2 for... what this actually means is that officially SKG will come out with the most points in a race this season. I think it will be the first time they would have scored the most points, or the second time, sorry. I think it might be the second time this season they've scored the most points out of any team. But it's I think it's definitely the first or second. It might be the first time they actually score the most points out of any team in a weekend. We know EVR has, I believe, EVR has done that, I think, once this season. We know AMS did that in the first race. No. I think so. Safety car is in this lap. Yeah, 6 laps old. So I think they'll make it to the end of the race, especially with these safety cars. The hards will make it to the end. There's no way they don't with the safety cars. But Nardo leads away once again. He's now led. He's led like an extra 5 laps since the end of the last safety car, so he's got an extra few laps. When is he going to go? He's going to go earlier. He's gone all the way off for the exit of the corner. It's not been the best of exits, but he's done a little bit... Oh, he's done a bit of weaving there. That hasn't helped him off of the exit, because it's actually allowed everybody behind to close up top. The other 3 drivers have closed up to him. Eastbrand already moving up a position ahead of Rusted Bolt, and that's up to P11 already, but it's a big risk. I will be honest, it's a massive risk. Kevin following through, though, with Eastbrand. I will say, though, I think we can all agree that it's a really big risk from Eastbrand to go onto medium tyres for the next 11 laps. We haven't even seen tyres be used for 11 laps yet, any set of tyres. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, because he's going to have a lot of traffic. Like, he's going to have this HRT to get past, and every corner. It's gonna be strange. Nilu, by the way, makes a move for P7 in this race, and some extra points for SET. And that's not good for one other team of XPG. As it stands, SET will move up into 5th in the Constructors. A massive fall away for XPG this season, but the comeback from Nilu is crazy. It is actually crazy. But you can see Eastbrand now up to 10th. He's got to close up the gap to David Schvat, and then Philip, and then Nilu, who's left over a second gap. That might be a bit difficult to close, but look at that. Kevin's following through, though, with actually Eastbrand, which is good to see that EVR are using maybe some AMS strategies going on here. Raxi's just set the fastest lap of the race. Yes, I do know the Discord link does not work right now. If you stick till the end of the stream, I will fix it right before the end, because the link that I had somebody add, as I found out on Sunday, that I forgot about, Ebersovic now retires. But as I found out on Sunday, the link is actually, they only did a 7-day link. They didn't do an all-time link. So I'll quickly I will fix that as soon as I can. Hello, Isaias. Welcome to the stream. Watching Eastbrand. Unable to make a position up yet on lap number 15. Is he going to make up one place or two? But the gap is building now. He's 2 seconds off of P6 as it would stand. So he's losing bits of time. He needs to get past Nilu. He needs to get past David Schwatt now. For P... Whoa, and a little bit of contact. Is David Schwatt going to let him by? Is it going to be an easy one? Yes, it will be. And that's P9 for the AMS driver. That's a solid position made. But look at this. Casper now has actually caught up to Nardo enough. Is it going to be a change of the lead into the final corner, turn 27? Kevin has gone up a couple of places. Kevin's actually jumped. He's trying to jump. Eastbrand, look at this. 3 wide down the pit straight. And a change for the lead. SKG lead away. And that is the first change of the lead from from AMS. It's now changed to SKG. Look at this. Chaos is going on. Kevin's getting caught up in everything here. But for Eastbrand, he's now up to 7th. And that's really lucky for him. He's gotten up to 7th. Black Panther now has a moment in Sector 1. Holy. And it is the lead for SKG. We've waited 15, by the way, 15 whole laps of this race to finally see SKG lead or another team other than AMS to lead. But that's 15 laps led now of this race. And that cannot be beaten by anybody. That cannot be beaten by any team, by the way, in this race. I think we all know that AMS... I think it's... you know, at the end of every season, I always do a stat. I always look at some sort of stats, and I look at, like, I always publish it with, like, Twitter or whatever, like, how many laps led and so forth. And I think this season, I think it's actually going to be quite close for how many laps have been led between each team, because it's, you know, like in Brazil, it was incredibly close. As now we can see Raxi trying to make up a position here. He is making up the position. He's trying to get the position over Half Snow. And he has, as now, Casper leads away. 1 lap now led by SKG in this race. And the first lap led by another team other than AMS. No team, by the way, has actually led the race 100%. There's a team, one team actually won, I believe, this season. And that was without leading a single lap. And I believe that was XPG who won without leading a single lap of the race. Which is incredible. In all fairness, it's something that's never actually happened, by the way, in FRLT. It's the one and only time it's ever happened of a driver or team not leading a single lap of a race, but somehow winning the race through penalties. The mediums seem to be losing a little bit of their shine now, a little bit. They definitely seem to be getting a little bit slower, a little bit more on pace with the hard tyres, because Eastbrand is not catching as much. Yannick Casares, though, important move in the race, up to P5. It's been a bit quiet for the last couple of laps, but it's an important move for himself because he's up to P5. And this is interesting now because 35 points will be going SKG's way and only 17 for EVR. As it stands, it's getting very, very close to a change for second in the constructors. But look at this. Is there going to be another change for the lead? Are we going to see it? No, we're not. Nardo leads again as now Kevin makes his way up to P8 in this race. Harrison's trying to make his way up to P9. Trying to get past Nilu for P9. And is that the move made? And it is the move made. Which one? Which one? You're not giving me anything. You can't just tell me. I'm so confused. I think we're going to be seeing another retirement here tonight, maybe. Maybe we'll see a retirement. Maybe not right this second, but interesting. Nardo, I think, has control in this race. Now, Simba now retires. And that's a holy Jesus! Another safety car. Another one. Retiring on track. Jesus Christ. Sadly, for Eastbrand, I think he's going to have a bit of a problem here. Because, by the way, this has actually now made it to 3 safety cars. For the first time this season, it's the one and only time this season we've actually had 3 safety cars. So that's actually quite nice to see, compared to last season. But this absolutely ruins AMS's strategy with Eastbrand, because now everybody else is just going to come into the pits and they're going to get fresh tyres on, while Eastbrand doesn't really have any to use, and Casper's staying out. What is he doing? What is this man up to? A lot of people staying out. Who's coming in? Barely anybody. Barely anybody's coming in. Okay, the bottom half of the grid are coming in. Okay, I don't know what these guys are on. These guys are on crack or something. No joke. Why didn't they come in? Half the grid did, but the other half hasn't. For AMS, though, this is even worse. They've got 12 points on the line. Wait, hang on. 20... They're going to lose 14 points in the championship. So from, what did I say? 48 points? 48 points. They're going to lose 14. Did I say 14? Yeah, 14. So they're going to drop down to 34 points as the gap as it stands. 34 points. This is unholy. This is crazy. 34 points is currently what the gap would be going into the final 2 races. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I don't know. Just don't ask me anything. I can't answer you right now. I just... Huh? So confused with all of this. I think it's a strange one. I generally do. But it's going to be another lap 20, which means we're going to be going on to lap 21. Maybe we will, I think we'll be getting going in on lap 21, which means there's 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. 5 laps of this race that will be ran at full speed and in racing conditions. 5 laps. And Russell Bolt comes in. Does that mean we're going to be facing a... Well, does that mean we're going to come down to just 4 laps left? Because then... In all honesty, if it's 4 laps, I don't think Eastbrand or Bernardo will win. And this might be... I'm not going to say this now. I'm not going to say this in like fully. But AMS might have just blundered a 1-2. It cannot be me that... It cannot just be me. I'm not being mean to AMS at all. But it cannot just be me that thinks maybe AMS have just blundered not only a win, but a 1-2. There's no way. They qualify, first and fourth, get up to a 1-2 in the race earlier, right at the start of the race, 1-2, and they're now 5th and 9th, 12 points. Incredible. Holy, this race is... I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. Yeah, the 3 safety cars is part of the reason, but in all fairness, if Eastbrand wins, I will be surprised. If I was being completely honest with you, I would be incredibly surprised if Eastbrand was to win. I'd actually be surprised if Eastbrand won this race, because you've got 4 cars to get past. And I've got to... one driver I've got to speak about is Raxi. How has this man brought himself up into a podium position? Safety car is in this lap. How has Raxi done this? How is he in third? How are we going to see 3 different constructors at the moment on the podium? Holy, this race has actually changed quite a bit. But for the first time, and for the third start, but for the first time, it is not Nardo leading. It is Casper leading the grid away. I can't see him at the moment. Let's see, when is he going to go? As he's gone now, and that's actually a really good start. It's been a bad start from Schumacher. Down the pit straight. Here we go. Casper's run away with the lead at the moment. Look at this. Raxi down the inside of Schumacher. He's trying to make the move for P2 in this race, but Schumacher holds on to it for now. And that is where he needs to stay. He needs to stay in P2. He needs to keep on scoring more points than AMS will as it stands. Nardo is now up to 8th. That's a good jump up the order, and that's exactly what he needed. We've got some battling further back, and that is Black Panther that gets a penalty. Nardo all over the back of Harrison. Oh, and a mistake from Nardo! It's a big mistake. Schumacher gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to hurt him massively in the race. That is going to take him outside of the top 10 at the moment, and that is just crazy. Now, as we can see, Schumacher with that penalty, he is really running for everything he's got now. Because it's going to be P1 and about P9 by my account. By my count, it will be about P9. So it's not looking too brilliant. Or P8, sorry. It could be. It looks like about P8 possibly. It's only a 3-second time penalty. But look at this. Nardo all over the back of Kevin already. He's really pushing. He's trying to make up every position he can. But will Kevin give him some problems? I think Kevin will. Heading into the hairpin. It is teammate versus teammate. This might actually turn a little bit risky. Because look at this. Kevin's really battling over this position. He's not going to let Nardo through so easily. Raxi now takes P2. I think Casper's nicely made it off into the lead. Now look at this. Side by side. Schumacher having a bit of a battle. Contact. And that's ultimately Kevin who's almost spun round. It's all going wrong. That could be a possible penalty going AMS's way. That's not going to help Nardo at all. Now heading round, AMS on for 18 points now. A little bit better. But Kevin outside of the points. And now, once again, EVR are losing points in the Constructors. How have EVR bottled this Constructors? I do not know. In this perfect opportunity, I have no clue how they've done it. But they have. Only a few laps remaining now. 4 laps remaining, and that is counting down incredibly quickly now. Eastbrand lets Nardo past for P5. Teamwork going on there. Nardo on fresh mediums. Can Nardo do it? He's got to get over 2 seconds. He's got to find over 2 seconds now to the lead. It's a massive gap. It's going up almost to 3 seconds now. It's almost at 3 seconds. He's got to find a lot of time. Nardo pushing with everything he's got. It looks like Schumacher's a bit of a sitting duck at the moment. Into turn 27. Nardo's throwing everything he's got at this. He's trying. Look at how Schumacher's giving him a really tough time. With the rear wing now open, side by side. Is it going to become 3 wide? Oh, Nardo, he's trying to go down the inside of everybody. He does it! A 4-driver move! What a move! Into P2, now chasing the lead of the race. He's got to catch 1.5 seconds. He's got to find that in just less than 3 laps. And then he's got to overtake for the lead of the race. While Casper now leads away over a second ahead. Can he do that? Can he find that? Raxi still on the podium. Still, as it stands, SKG will still walk away with the most points out of anybody. Weisbrand and Schumacher going for it. Full on battling. You can see there's been a DNF. That is Maisie that I think has had a moment. Or David Schwatt as well. Both having a bit of a moment. You can see Schumacher's giving the man of Eastbrand some problems. He wants to at least cut off a couple of points off of AMS as it stands. Just to make it a little bit worse. Just to hurt that little bit more. Raxi, by the way, though, in all fairness, Raxi is still in this. He could still challenge Nardo for P2 because he's still got DRS on him. at the moment hasn't caught a lot from Nardo. It's not enough to actually get that position. Oh! And that is Kevin in the wall! He is in the wall. And P14. Holy. This race is crazy. Schumacher as well gets past. He got past East Brown for a second. Wasn't able to hold on to it. Down to P7. Yanni Casares! Holy, he's out! I don't know what to say. This ending is becoming absolutely crazy. A lap and a half to go. A lap and a half to go in this race. A lap and a half. That's all that's left of this race. 3 people could still win it. Realistically, 3 drivers could still win. Who is going to win? Will it be AMS's 4th victory of the season and make it a 50% success rate? Will it be XR8 to take their 2nd win of the season? Or will it be SKG to become another winner? Another winner this season, I believe, will become the 6th team to win in the 8 races we've had. Half Snow up to P4. He has got a penalty, though. That's going to hurt him. But look at how the rest of the grid is actually being able to keep up roughly. But now Nardo, final lap of the race. Nardo is within distance. He's got that DRS. It's all going to come down to this. Half Snow is giving the man of East Brown some problems. Look at this. He's really giving the AMS driver a lot of problems and a lot of issues to think about at the moment. But look at the man of Nardo. He's all over the back of Casper. Casper is going to give him some issues. He's not going to be nice. And you can see holding Nardo up is working to some degree because Raxi is now back up into this. And will it be a team that hasn't won since round 2? Will it be somebody who hasn't won? A team that has won the last 2 races and will take a hat-trick? Look at this. Casper's really making the moves and really giving the problems. Oh, Nardo's made a little bit of an error. A little bit too slow through the corner. Let's see. Because Raxi, by the way, is all over the back. Holy, look at this. Look at Raxi. It is a 4-way fight because Half Snow, he's also there. Oh my God. Look at this. It is all coming down to the line. These safety cars have caused chaos. Casper, 3 wide. Here they go into the final corner. Casper down the inside. Oh, and it's contact. It's contact. Raxi's up to P2. Who's going to cross it first? It will be Nardo who wins in Jeddah. Holy, what a victory in Season 4. And that is P1 for Nardo. Casper in 3rd and Raxi in 2nd. The podium is complete. And it is, in the end, 38 points for AMS. 38. Well, it is 1 point for EVR. Holy, what an end. What an end to the race. No words. No words at all. We'll have to see, David, because there was a bit of an incident earlier on between Nardo and some other people. So, I do not know. I do not know at all. I do not know how that is going to go. Yeah, that is the victory for AMS, their 4th of the season. But they might lose it. They might lose it because of an incident that did happen between Nardo and some other drivers, I believe. So we'll have to see. I think it was with Schumacher. Not Schumacher, with Kevin. So we'll have to see. But here is the end of the grid. It is Nardo in first, followed by Raxi, Casper, Eastbrand, then Harrison, then Flame. What a finish for them. 18 points tonight. Then Batiste in 7th, Nilu in 8th, Philip in 9th, and Schumacher in 10th. A terrible day for EVR. Half Snow in 11th, Black Panther in 12th, Russell Bolton in 13th, Kevin in 14th. Then the retirements being Yanni, David, Macy, Bulksu, and Simba, and then Eber Sovic finally. Holy, what a night. What a night it's been. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on that notification bell to know about all the content we're going to be doing. From streams, shorts, and videos. Everything and anything. Very much. Check it out. Also, go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below. One thing I will say from tonight is it shows that still the action is there all the way up to the end. But ultimately, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on the notification bell. But ultimately, also big thanks to our affiliate SimRacing Centre. I hope everybody's had an incredible night, and I will see you very soon. And I will see you on Sunday for fours for round number 8, the penultimate race before the finale. I'll see you there. Goodbye.